You want me to do it? Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today praising you for all of the blessings that you have given us. We ask for your continued blessings upon our county and upon our councilmen. And we ask for your guidance as we gather together this morning. We ask for clear direction in the matters at hand and show us a spirit of joy, enthusiasm, and partnership as we set our hearts upon your work. We ask for the protection of the citizens of this county and with this weather that's coming in, and here already, Lord, we ask for the protection of our citizens. Be with us, Lord, as we do your work and your will, as we represent those who gave us their trust and allowed us to be their voice. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Now pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you guys very much for coming out this morning in all this snow. This is our February 9th, 2021 council meeting. Show all are present. Anybody have any news they would like to share with us? We won't vote on anything or do anything with it today, but seeing none, we'll go on to old business, the 2021 Board of Appointments by the Council. We had some nominations last week, and me and Tammy kind of drew up a little rough draft here and go over that and see if anybody came up with any new people.
Yeah, on the first one there, John Miller, Miller Heating and Cooling, he's wanting to get involved, do something. He's a businessman around town, good guy.
So add him to the business or the alcohol beverage board?
Yes, yes.
Okay, anybody else have anybody different that they'd like to add on here?
I had nominated Greg Prince.
He went for the commissioners,
Did he go?
Greg Franklin.
Okay.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
found that out. So,
so we took him off.
Are we talking about the alcohol and beverage?
Yeah, we're just gonna go straight down.
I spoke with Perry, and he would really like to stay on there. They're
I would
doing a lot of
nominate
good
Perry.
things.
I think Perry's done us a good job. I would nominate Perry to continue in that position.
So do we want to go ahead and make the ones official today that we can?
Yes, let's.
All right. So is that a nomination for Perry Hayes?
That's my nomination, yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of Perry Hayes staying on for the alcohol and beverage board for us? Aye. You guys good? No? Nay?
Yeah.
Your eye.
yeah, I won't be opposed.
So two. Lindy, are you against it too?
Yeah. I'll go. I don't know.
How many votes got for Perry?
4.
4?
43, it'll pass that Perry stays on as our Alcohol and Beverage Commission. Next, Advisory Plan Commission. Donnie, you still want to stay on there?
Well, I think I have to. I think it's like a 4-year thing.
Okay.
I like, can I
He's, I think he's gotta stay on.
express my opposition to that?
Yes.
Are you joking?
All right, Board of Zoning
You have
Appeals.
I'd like to nominate Jim Boswell. He's been on that for about 13 years.
I spoke with him yesterday, and he would gladly love to stay on there for us. I have a second for Jim Boswell.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second for Jim Boswell to stay on. All in favor? 5, 6. All opposed? 6 to 1. Eric opposes.
Just like the old days.
All right, Civil Defense. Ab, is that just a 1 year?
Yes,
Okay.
unless somebody else would rather have that, I'll stay.
I'll make a motion for,
Did anybody say that Somebody said something about that. Nobody said anything about the
You said something about it.
civil defense? No.
You and Ab were talking about something. But Ab said he'd like to stay on there.
Okay.
I make a motion
Let
to
Ab
keep
stay on.
Ab on it.
All right, do I have a second?
Well, I think that was
Keep
one of
Ab.
those that had to have a council member also.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor to keep Ab on civil defense? Unanimous, 7-0. All right, next one, county council attorney. We didn't think we were gonna have to do this one, but Mike stepped down on us, so any recommendations besides the ones present? I have Stephanie Parker and,
And Zach Stewart,
okay, Eric.
and Zach Stewart's here, sitting back there in the back. If anybody would like to
Zach.
look at it, talk to him,
You wanna come up and
or whatever.
let us know about
Yeah.
it, so they have an idea?
We can't have anybody dress as they
So, my name's Zach Stewart. I grew up in Henryville off East State Road 160, kind of just towards Salem. Went to St. X High School, and from there went to Bloomington undergrad on a full ride scholarship. Triple majored in political science, international studies, and Spanish literature. Stayed there for law school. I also got a full ride to law school. During law school, I came and I worked in Clark County for Jeremy Moll in the prosecutor's office. And I actually kind of interned, I guess, with Brad Hall, who's now a deputy prosecutor here in Scott County. Since graduating and passing the bar, I've worked in Jeffersonville and actually moved there. I work in the same building as some other attorneys. We're not necessarily associated with partnership, but currently I represent the Clark County Health Department, the Jeffersonville Fire and Merit Commission, New Albany Township Fire District. I do a lot of criminal work as well as civil work in multiple counties in Indiana, and I've done some appellate work, and I'm just very happy to be considered for this bill. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to talk more about something.
You, I'm okay.
Go ahead.
You have an office
Yes,
that
sir.
you operate?
Yes, I'm a solo practitioner essentially, but I kind of got my start when I was working in the prosecutor's office. I met a defense attorney in Jeffersonville. His name's Larry Wilder. Tried some cases with him on the defense side before I graduated from law school, and have since moved into his office, and I rent space from him. So we're not affiliated, but we practice together essentially, and we kind of have a agreement that if something's going to go to trial or something like that, or he needs, I do a lot of appellate work, so if he needs somebody to write briefs and tell him what the law is, that's what I do.
And I assume that you're aware that we have a meeting, you wouldn't be here if you weren't aware of our.
Yes, I can make, I think he said the
Every
third-
second Tuesday.
Every second Tuesday, yes, that's not a problem.
You don't see a problem there?
No, I think, I actually have a court hearing today at 10 o'clock, so I will probably have to step out today, but that was already scheduled, and I just got this call yesterday.
And like
Have-
possible.
Have you went over the contract that we
I have
had
not.
set in front?
I've not had an opportunity to look at any proposed contract, but I told Eric that it's normal for whatever the contract is, I just take a look at it and make sure that it was okay. I know that I have ongoing contract with most of my city boards and or county boards, and I generally work on an hourly rate, but I'm not opposed to a different fee structure, so it's however you would like to offer that.
We have a set fee and then it's dispersed
And
12
annual.
payments.
Okay.
So would you be
Annual.
okay with that?
Yeah. So I helped Larry a little bit with city council in Jeffersonville, so I think that's kind of what they do, so.
Well, what I was gonna say, I mean, we may have a special meeting or something, you know.
You could have them outside of that, could
Yeah,
have a call.
could have, or, you know, may or may not even need him to be here, you know, who knows, but, you know, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I can submit like a formal resume that would kind of help talk a little bit about my background.
Well, I think with this one, we can't rush it till you see the contract and maybe Stephanie sees the contract. Did anybody else have any other nominations?
She's getting a copy of the contract for.
Okay.
I have no further questions.
Is the other?
I sent
person-
Stephanie a copy of the contract.
You did?
For her to look over
Was
and
she
see.
in agreement?
She said she would like to join us.
Okay. we'll let
So
her know.
we can hold off on this one until the next, or do we really need to do it today?
Fine, if you wait.
Table this part of it? Okay.
I'd like to reserve the first nomination for him, though.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a copy of the original contract that you all had established with
Okay,
Mr.
you want to
Carter
hand it
in
to him so he can
2012.
look over it?
Yeah, and there was a copy as well, and then a recent recital.
Pretty simple, pretty
Yeah,
straightforward.
yeah.
Anybody else have any questions for him right now? Okay, do I have a nomination, or a motion to keep the nominations for this time, and then we'll table it for next meeting?
Yes.
Lindy, motion?
I think that makes good sense for him and us to.
Can
And I do apologize, I've been told that I have to be upstairs at 10 o'clock immediately, so thank you very much.
You're okay, thank you, nice meeting you.
But I'm glad you're needed.
Can she could be your next time?
Show somebody else's interest in the side of that.
Okay, who seconded that? Do we have a second?
If you don't have.
Diane?
Thank you.
Okay, County Insurance Committee. We had said Lindy and Donnie Ritchie. All in favor, or does anybody else have any nominations they'd like to add to that? Seeing none, all in favor?
Oh, can I vote for myself?
7-0?
Vote for yourself.
You vote for me, I vote for you.
Sounds good.
Okay, Economic Development Commission, Raleigh Campbell, I think it's a 3-year term, but we came to the conclusion where we'd like to have somebody from the board on there. So, anybody else want to add any nominations besides Rachel Harden, Chris Albertson, and Peggy Plessinger?
I'd like to comment on Chris Albertson. And Chris Albertson, a member of the city council.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I can't see how we could have a member of the Scottsburg City Council represent the Scott County Council on any board, commission, committee, any other government. I don't know that it's illegal, but it don't make good sense to me, and I'd be opposed to any member of
We need one or three.
This one.
any other council, whether it be Austin, Scottsburg, or who, representing us on anything. So I would, with that dissertation, I would think Chris Albertson would not be a good choice for this council.
Well, I feel like it should be somebody on the board too, and I'd like to make a motion for Rachel Harden.
I would second that.
Okay, all in favor? 7-0. All right, EMS Advisory Board. Raymond Jones. I have a motion to keep Raymond on there.
I make a motion to keep Raymond on.
Second.
Congratulations, Raymond. You can
Thank
keep
you.
that, you can keep that task for us.
Thank you.
All right, Tammy, what are we doing with the library?
All right, I did
7-0.
one in the commissioners stack, sorry. I had two, one from the commissioners and one from the council. Where the library wrote to the board, the county council, and it's come to my attention that the appointment of Sheila Williams, and that's who we have listed here. As a member of the Public Library Board of Trustees, will expire January 31st, 2021. Mrs. Williams is eligible for a 4-year term and has indicated an interest in continuing her service with the board. Mrs. Williams has served very capably and has been a very valuable member of the board. So the library would like to ask that, the Board of Trustees would like to ask that Sheila Williams be reappointed as a representative from the Scott County Council for a 4-year term, effective January 31, 2021, to end on January 31, 2025. So that is their board's recommendation to continue with that, but obviously you all can make your own.
Can I see that?
Yeah, sure.
They recommended it. It's pretty good.
I would move that we honor their request.
When they do ask for money.
No, they don't
Well,
need it. They don't need it.
Yeah. Adam seconded it. You know, the board says she's doing a good job.
I don't know.
Okay, we have a motion by Raymond to honor their board's request and keep Sheila Williams as the trustee for the library. We have a second by Ab. All in favor?
Did we have somebody we wanted?
It was gonna be, Kenny is interested in it if she was stepping down, if there was a vacancy, Kenny.
But otherwise,
I mean, he'd like to be on it, so if we can put his name on it, but it sounds like we'd already.
Okay.
well, I'll be opposed. Okay?
Well, what was the actual count then? I'm sorry.
So, okay, so what's the?
I think we're gonna start over.
Okay.
Okay, so they're,
We have a motion by Raymond and a second by Ab to honor the library's request of Sheila Williams sticking in her position. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. All opposed? Okay,
What's the result?
she'll stay in her position.
Okay. I couldn't see how.
Okay, Personnel Committee. There was a nomination of Lindy Hubanks and myself.
We have
Anybody,
that?
anybody else wanna do
The
that?
Personnel Committee came back?
Huh?
The Personnel Committee came back?
Yeah.
yes, with the last handbook in 2018. It's not real active, but it
Okay.
is back, but the handbook did reinstate the personnel.
Wow. I was on that for a while, nothing ever happened.
You like.
We got a vacancy for 2 and we got 2 applicants on there. No.
All right, any other nominations?
Who do you got? I'm sorry.
Me and Rachel.
Eric, I think we should put you on there and it'll be you and Lindy.
Are they
I don't
Are
know.
they two?
Hey, whoa,
I'm not very personality.
Are we
let's
do
put a
two?
time out on
Yeah.
that one.
Where's you gonna want
So we're nominating those 2 people?
We got.
Those are our nominations.
Okay.
Anybody motion to keep it?
I do.
Or I'll second or whichever.
I feel so loved.
Well,
We got Lindy and Rachel.
I'll third it.
we'll just keep.
Raymond motion. All right, all in favor?
Who made the second?
You oppose?
Did you oppose?
I can't be opposed. I'll
Give me
second
a,
it.
somebody give me a fly swatter.
Who seconded?
Eric.
Give it to him, please. Give him a second.
I've got him as making.
Raymond motioned it.
Raymond.
Eric seconded, and then he was trying to oppose it. Okay, Redevelopment Commission. We have nominations of Iva Gazaway and Yvonne Dowd. And I believe we need to have someone on the board be on this one, because it's a pretty big one.
So
Well, I will
do we need, how many?
2.
Two.
I will nominate Yvette Dowd and Diane Mullins. As our 2.
Well, I have, Iva
Have to.
had sent us a letter, appointment to the redevelopment board. To Scott County Council members, in early 2020, I discovered the county could capture the Jackson County Rural Electric Company's high-speed internet as a tax increment finance district, also known as a TIF district. REMC is laying this high-speed internet throughout the rural areas of the county. This will be assessed as a utility by the state of Indiana. The county council did allow a tax abatement for the utility lines. They won't pay any taxes the first year, but taxes will gradually increase each year until the abatement is phased out over 10 years. Setting up the Northern County TIF district is not quite completed, and I'm asking that you extend my appointment to the Redevelopment Board until the project is finished or one more year. This is no way benefits me, but it will benefit you for many, many years to come. The district is set up to only be spent on paving and infrastructure on any roads located along this utility right-of-way outside the 2 city limits. You can verify this with the auditor if you have any questions. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Iva Gazaway, 2521.
I'd like to nominate Ida and Diane.
Ida and Diane.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Yvonne and Diane.
I'll second one of those, or
One of
somebody,
them?
you know, somebody.
Do we
somebody
need to
needs second
vote
something.
one person at a time then
Yeah.
and see?
I think it probably would be more
Eric made
important,
nominations.
I move to or I motion to, because nominations are just suggestions at that point. So if someone wants to so move,
So do one person at a time
um,
to get our 2.
yeah, I think I would do that.
Okay,
I move to nominate Yvonne. Dowd.
so you motion,
Yes,
And who?
Yvonne.
And who else?
we gotta do it one person at a time.
Yeah, we
Oh, we
gotta
have to
do
get one at a time.
That would
That would help.
Be
with
better,
the
probably.
Combination
I think
thing,
you have
because
to.
you guys are doing them in combos, and that's
Yeah,
gonna
one
be harder, I
time.
think.
So you've got the 3, you got Ida, you have Diane and Yvonne.
So that's the 3 we're looking at.
Yeah.
Well, I'll second that.
Second, who?
Who you just said.
Yvonne.
Yvonne.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
so-
second Yvonne.
I second it on, yeah.
And so Lindy nominate, motion for Yvonne, and then Eric is gonna second that, right?
You had a motion earlier for Iva, didn't you?
Well, we're still going,
Well, what,
we need 2 people,
yes, we do.
so we've gotta narrow it down to 2 people.
Yes, we do.
How about we vote for the board one first? Let's vote for the one on the board, since we're all here.
Sounds like a great idea. So you wanna make a motion?
So you gotta withdraw.
We're gonna
What?
withdraw,
You'll
yes.
have to withdraw the motion.
I'll withdraw.
Your second.
We're withdrawing the motion, say yes.
Yes, and my second.
Okay, you're good.
Say yes and he seconds it.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion for the board
Yes.
member.
I will motion for Diane.
And I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Who we got now?
We're just going with Diane right now for the board appointment.
Oh, I guess
You
I
want-
can vote for
Alright,
myself.
You want on there?
No, that's fine.
Huh?
No, that's
I
okay.
can vote against myself.
Was that 7-0?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Now, somebody want a motion?
I will motion for Yvonne Dowd.
I'll second it.
All in favor of Yvonne Dowd? 3. All opposed? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Nominate Ida Gazaway.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor of Iva? 4-3. Okay, so our redevelopment commission will consist of Diane Mullins and Iva Gazaway. The River Hills Board,
Lindy. Lindy.
Lindy.
Yes, it's Cindy with an L.
I'll never get it.
Are we to River Hills yet?
I've been
Yes,
told
we
all
are
kinds of
now.
things.
I will nominate Paul Renaud, owner of the Java Station. Businessman wants to make things better.
on top of Lindy's name.
Uh,
We'd like to keep a board member on them if we would.
That's
Oh,
the,
okay.
that's the grants.
You want that?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll take that back, I'll nominate Lindy.
Job, Eric.
I'd like to cooperate and get along.
Okay, so that was a motion for Lindy. A second?
I'll second
All in favor? 7-0.
Who was the second on that, I'm sorry?
Diane.
I second it.
All right, thank you.
Scott County Partnership. Myself is nominated. Anybody else wanna?
I make a motion for Rachel.
I'll second Rachel.
I have 2 more years, so I kinda have to stay there too, Donnie.
No, that's all right.
I'm just kidding with you.
Well, you know what's going on.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's a really good one to be a part of. I've learned a lot about it. Let's see, Southeastern Solid Waste District.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna nominate, or motion for Diane. If I don't, she wants the trash.
And I'll second.
Oh, love the
He
trash.
loves trash.
She loves the trash board.
I'm your recycle girl.
You are
God.
good.
All right, Eric, second. All in favor?
Oh, I guess I should vote for myself.
7-0. I think Mike said they meet 4 times a year. Where my other notes are. All right, in the Scott County Economic Development, what are we calling it?
This is basically your,
The bond with-
bond board.
And Eric's the nomination. Anybody want to motion that?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? 7-0.
That was a slow hand there.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's glad there wasn't nobody else on there.
I'm gonna see if you're gonna vote no.
Now, yeah, this kind of done.
You want us to wait and sign until after we see about the attorneys?
This is kind of a dumb question or comment, but can we go, all the people that are on these, to find out when, where, and all that stuff, who do we go to?
Do what?
To find out where these all meet and when and all that stuff.
Auditor's office, no?
We go to the auditor's office to find out, so if anybody doesn't know, they'll know where to go. Times and
We
dates.
can assist you with that. We'll assist you with
I'll let you
trying to
know.
hook you up with the right people.
Okay.
Don't call them, they'll call you.
Okay.
We'll send you a telegram.
Okay, that sounds great.
So the only one we like is
The attorney.
the attorney.
All right, on to other business. Scott County Council Attorney Mike Carter, he has given us a resignation letter. Do I need to read this or just?
I think everybody gets, but he doesn't really resign. If you look at the letter, he doesn't really resign. No, he doesn't resign. But that's okay, we all know.
We know for sure that they don't want it, right?
He's turned down our nomination.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So do we need to do anything with that?
Table the attorney, table for the next meeting, is that correct?
We already did, yeah.
I would just accept his resignation.
So you all accept his resignation?
Well,
I move we accept Mike Carter's resignation.
I'll second. Well,
With gratitude for his previous service.
will we need to, I'm assuming he's staying on until March 1st. Will we need to meet before then, or will we be okay in the interim without a?
You'll be fine.
Okay.
I wanted to see what the pleasure of this board was actually before the commissioners. We advertised because some counties don't have a council attorney. others operate under default with the one that the commissioner
That was my
picks.
question, the
So,
interim between the
it's
first
not-
and whenever we meet
It's
again.
not mandatory
I
that
just wanted to
you
make
hire
sure.
your own legal counsel. If that's how your board feels, that's up to
If he paid
you all.
January.
But I was kind of waiting to see what you
Well,
guys
he,
decided
he
before I made that.
resigned. I'm taking this as he's here until March 1st. He's on for us until March 1st.
Yes, and I would
We're-
agree.
And then we would meet after March 1st, so my question was, are we good in the interim between March 1st and when we meet again, we'll be without representation, are we fine with that?
Oh, you're fine.
That-
You're
that was
fine.
my question.
I don't anticipate that there would be anything.
That was just my
litigious
question.
That would come
But-
up in the meantime.
But he's
Yeah.
still on payroll, he would cover anything we need up
He
until
would
March.
be paid
Until March 1st.
through February. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
But I
He's
mean,
paid
we
through
could-
February, yes.
Yes,
Rachel could call on him up until March 1st.
Correct.
yes.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept Mike Carter's resignation. He will be on till March 1st, 2021.
So you got a motion?
All in favor?
Okay, I'm assuming that would be.
Diane went to the bathroom, but she was in favor.
6-0.
Yeah.
Show that 6-0, Teresa. Okay, next. Commissioner 2021 county-sponsored COVID-19 pay extension, timber fund additional appropriations.
Do you want to speak to that, Mike?
Yeah, I can. I'm gonna stay right where I'm at. The commissioners, started getting some phone calls from some employees, I think from January to present time. I think we've had 6, maybe 7, county employees that have either been quarantined or had tested positive for COVID. I know January or December 31st, 2020, the current plan that we had expired. So there wasn't any money that, would go towards paying the employees, for their time that they had to be off. So in turn, the commissioners have decided to readdress that and go back to retro back to January 1, 2021 and reinstate the deadline is June, is that correct?
That's June 30th through half the year.
Through June 30th. And the money, just like we, when the council and the commissioners closed the courthouse, every department had already budgeted for payroll for their employees. So the money's there. I mean, these people didn't get paid anything for their time off. I think one may have took some PTO or something. But the board unanimously approved the document to reinstate paying employees only, and it has to be them quarantined and them have COVID, not a family member. It has to be the employee. So if a county employee takes off because a family member is tested and they're not quarantined, they're not paid. So it's only if a county employee has to be quarantined or has COVID, we're requesting that they be paid up to 80 hours. And that the money's already budgeted in all their department heads, so it's kind of like they're just getting paid like we did when we shut the courthouse down. I mean,
Not having to use their time.
we're just, and hopefully, after politics in Washington DC gets straightened out, maybe the government will come back with another COVID plan that, gives the state some more CARES money or something.
And I would piggyback on what Mike said, that the old FFCRA that was from April the 2nd through December 31st covered childcare if the daycare or the schools were closed. This was dialed back, and this is just about our employees because there is no FFCRA in place right now. for the new year. So we were hoping of some stimulus package. We're just kind of being proactive in this sense. And should there be a stimulus package or something that rolls out through this, this will only be swept, that will cover what we're doing right now. So it's not like they're gonna get more than what the FFCIA is. We're just giving them something right now, and if it comes back then and paints that broader brush, this will be part of that. We've already done what they said to do, so to speak. So, and it's just the employee only.
I will say that, people get tired of hearing this, but I meet with 5 other commissioners in the surrounding counties. They all continued their COVID 2020 plan in 2021. So they were still funding the 80 hours, up to 80 hours of COVID pay. So I think I guess I kind of let it go.
It's only fair, like you said, it's already budgeted, so they might as well get paid instead of having to use their
We're
time.
just requesting that you guys approve it, or
So do you need a motion on that?
Well, and to lay back on this 80-hour thing, that's only for people who work 40 hours per week typically. This covers full and part-time people. If they work 18 hours a week, they only get 18 hours for a 2-week period. So this is all tied to what their normal 2 weeks would be, up to an 80-hour maximum allowable. So if in our department, we're 35 hours a week, we get 70. So not every employee gets 80
So it's not a
hours
blanket
total.
80.
It's up to 80, but it's your average
It's your
2
average.
weeks salary.
Just
Yes.
make a motion, then
So
they
the previous COVID plan, what did it cover, the employee and a family member? I
Because that was
Because
federal.
the state, or
Yes.
it
That
was
was a federal
federally funded.
requirement.
Yes.
They were funding
This
it.
is just county funded.
Yes,
Yeah.
county, this is just, and there were no federal dollars sent our way for this per se. This was just part of what Mike said, the budget for people's salaries, just like you budget for vacation.
Right.
So
Okay.
you were just allowed to miss work, excused absence, and then you had up to 80 hours work, depending on your hours per week, up to maximum of 80, to be taken, paid by the county, just as if you were on a paid sick leave. So this is emergency medical leave that the commissioners have approved
One more
to pass on to you all.
One more question. So, we're covering the employee
Yes.
only, I get that. But if that employee has a sick child and they're like a single parent or whatever, are we, I mean, I know we're not paying the employee, but are they, their jobs are not in any type of danger,
No, no, because
correct?
this is called covered, part of this plan is covered from emergency medical leave, and it's an excused absence.
Okay.
So, they can be off, but they also can go unpaid, and they can, because this COVID thing is kind of, it's all encompassing, so to speak, and then they can use their PTO, because they have benefit time if they have it.
So they're not their job, even if it's just covered,
No,
even if
this
we're
is-
just covering
Because
them.
they can have family
You
medical leave.
see what I'm saying? I just wanna make sure that they're,
Yeah, they can
Yeah,
file
it-
family medical leave to take care of a
Okay.
family member in their household.
Okay.
So they're gonna be covered, it's
because
just
we have a lot of
whether
those
they can get paid or
situations
not.
anymore with
It's gonna
single
be,
parents and
Yes.
that kind of thing.
but whether they can
That's
get paid or
totally
not, it's gonna be
Yeah.
up to whether they have any PTO in their balance or not. But they can be unpaid medical leave excused through FMLA, but they have to be approved by the commissioners.
I'm thoroughly confused. What do you need in the form of a motion? What
I'm
do you
fixing to
need?
make
Well, are
it.
we gonna write it, hold on, are we gonna do a new
What,
policy?
I
Or are we,
have it written.
you have an amendment to
Word
the other
motion
policy?
and I'll make it.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion, to approve as written by the commissioners.
we've written it out, Tammy had it printed out, and it's not exactly like the last one, because the feds aren't involved with this. But it pretty much states exactly what we're gonna do. I mean, and again, it's employees only, and they need to understand that. But the seven people that I know of that have tested positive or have been quarantined, most of them actually tested positive. I think only 1 or 2 didn't test positive out of the 7, so, but they had to go home. I mean, so, I just think it's right to.
So they're covered under that.
Yes.
Okay.
So
That's-
Whatever
that's
we
my
need to
motion.
do to fix it, I'm in favor.
So you.
Okay,
vote
so
for it?
Donnie
Make a
motioned
motion
to
as
approve as
written
written
by
by the
the-
commissioners
by the
and Tammy,
I'll second.
the policy for should we put 2021 COVID pay?
Yes, 2021
And it
is.
does
2021.
expire in June, June 30th.
COVID pay.
So it'll expire June 30th this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless something happens to
That-
where
that you
the
wanna
feds
renew.
step in and give us more money.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, I don't have a problem with extending it to the end of the year if COVID's still rampant.
Well, whether we get any money or not, really, it's really irrelevant.
It's already budgeted.
It's already budgeted.
Sorry.
And the only other question I have, and I'm sorry, I'm butting in, but it's time for the discussion. We got a second, right?
No,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Let
No,
it.
okay.
Lindy,
Yeah.
Lindy seconded.
So anyway, only question was, just to clarify, the 2-week period is not carved in stone 2 weeks. I mean, it can be a week here, a week
10
there,
days.
It's 10 days of pay, basically. 10
scattered out.
It can be, it's, well,
No,
Well, they've gotta take so many days.
When you test positive for COVID,
Okay.
or you are quarantined, it's a straight 10 days.
I think he's
Okay.
asking if, like, say you're quarantined this week and you spend 5 days, but then come May, you get quarantined or you test positive.
Yes.
Use 5 more days
yes,
of
Yes.
COVID.
we track it cumulatively.
It's not
Yeah.
a cumulative
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
so it
It
could be
is
2 different
cumulative.
times or however
Yes.
many.
Yeah.
It's extended as you use it. Okay.
That's.
Everybody has a base
And
of
actually,
35 to.
actually, if I'm not mistaken, you can refuse to do it.
Yes.
Say you're quarantined and you say, hey, I'm gonna not get paid, or I'm going to
gonna
use
use my
my
PTO.
PTO.
So you can choose.
And then down the road, you get COVID, you can use it later. So
Okay.
you don't have to take it.
Okay.
It's an option for them.
Well, that was what I wanted, I think, I talked to somebody, I
We
don't
track it in the payroll, so.
it's 2 different,
Yes.
or several, however many,
Yes.
times that you need it, you don't have to use it all up at once.
Yeah, you could be on vacation and be quarantined, so to speak, or be,
Yes.
and then come, and only have to use 2 days of it.
Right.
Well, we're not, it's not a one and done.
Yeah.
You-
Or you use a day because you're waiting on a test result.
Yes, yes,
And then
that's correct.
Okay, or if you don't
So we have
get paid,
two, we have a first, a motion and a second.
Okay, all in favor? 7-0. Next is River Hills, Miss Melissa, oh, are we doing the timber fund? Is that all together?
You have the ten, the additional
We're
appropriation.
talking about the coroner's
Yes.
office. All right.
Timber fund.
I come to you again with the blessing of the commissioners. Raymond, you're as old as I am, but first time in our lifetime, we got a coroner that doesn't own a funeral home, so. And I think a year ago, January, I mentioned it to everybody saying, hey, we need to find some money because we're gonna have to find a place to put the coroner. Well, we have secured that with the blessing of the hospital, to where they're gonna give us 2 rooms out there for the morgue. And we have signed an MOU last year with the hospital for the use of those 2 rooms for free of charge. All we have to do is, I guess, make them to what specifications we need for the coroner. I think last year this board approved money for a cooler, some cots, so those have already been paid for. Well, I'm coming to ask for construction cost of $27,438, and then there's a state permit and an engineering fee of $4,650. So total, I'm not a mathematician, so it's somewhere in the $32,000 range, but it's already been advertised, Teresa, I believe.
We have 35?
Has already
Do we
advertised
advertise?
it.
35.
Right now, the coroner is, still using Jerry Buchanan's funeral home, and happy as a lark that Jerry and JD and Janie are still allowing that right now, because they're not charging the same thing, they're still just, business as usual, so. So I guess I'm asking for, the commissioners are asking for council, to find or see where we can find the money to create a office space and a autopsy room for, the coroner.
So you advertise that in the
It is,
timber,
it's advertised in the timber fund.
and they have 41,000 unexpended?
What was the price?
They advertise 35,000. And in the timber fund, 9641, county timber fund, there's 41,421.60 that's unexpended.
Okay.
So,
So does this timber fund, and I apologize because I don't know what a lot of these different funds are. What is the timber fund?
I can explain that, because I didn't know either. We evidently bought the property where the Tri-Hawk is, and then we, I guess, cut the timber on it, and that money went into this fund. It's never gonna, we're never gonna cut timber again someplace else, so it's a fund that was created because they sold some timber. So, I think at the end of the last year, did we not move money over
How much is in there?
to, the transfer
41,421.
station to
41?
balance that out? So
41,421.
So all
So it's
this
enough to cover.
money for this, now
That's
this,
for it,
is this
yeah.
35,000?
35.
Does that cover everything that we need to supply and do our coroner's office? I mean, is there any other additional things that we are gonna need?
The coroner has a budget for supplies and whatnot, so
This is just a rough.
this is a construction,
Okay,
part.
just to get it ready so that we can do business
It's to
basically.
set the cooler up, to put a petition wall up, to set the sinks up, to paint, to put an HVAC system in it, to put a, positive air ventilation system in there for the autopsy room, so.
You ready to use?
And to
Ready
make
to
sure
go.
that it's, because it's sat empty for a while, hasn't it, that room?
That room had, back in August, that room had everybody's health records in it.
So that's taking up the floor and any mold, and that is making it
Yeah, that's,
ready to go.
that's
Okay.
taking the tile up,
Yeah.
getting rid of the asbestos tile, that's putting tile down or flooring down and,
Mhm.
and painting and everything.
Okay.
Walk out ready.
Well, Mike, I'm aware of the problem. We've got a problem, we need to provide space for the coroner and it's our obligation to do so. But I think there's something that tells me, and I haven't found it yet, but that we can't spend money on property we don't own. I don't think you can spend county funds on property you don't own. And I can't quote you that now, it's just, it's something we need to explore, be sure that we can do that. I don't have a problem with it if it's something we can legally do, but I don't think we can. I can't sit here and tell you, but,
I think Tammy brought that up at a meeting, we had last night. And,
who did?
Tammy
No.
did. And, she said that, I don't know, did you say that you had talked to somebody at the State Board of Accounts, or you're
In
just?
looking at code, and I would like to get clarification, make sure I'm speaking correctly, but whenever you look at code, if the county leases or owns property, it's considered public. That's where I'm going back with this, having an actual contract, where there's terms with the lease, lessor and leasing agreement and whatnot, because that establishes a relationship that's more than just a mutual aid agreement, to where we are investing and we are getting something for that investment. Because I think State Board of Accounts would look at that arrangement, because I'm very cautious, like, we talked before in meetings, about investing tax dollars without a very good hammered out agreement as if you get this for so long because you're doing this.
So it'd be a contract between the county and the hospital for
Correct.
$1 a year
Well,
or
it-
$0 or
No,
whatever.
it would be for, that we would make, this is our arrangement, so we make certain improvements as outlined by that memorandum that Mike has.
Mhm.
In exchange for use of blah, 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 blah. So we have an agreement that you're going to invest this, but you're going to get also,
Okay.
at no, use of this at no charge, you're gonna get utilities, you're gonna get these things for what you invest.
So you
and you're
need to
gonna have a
basically
charge.
transpose the memorandum into a contract.
I don't think what he's got is gonna stop us from moving forward, because that's the tracks that you're laying for the train to go down. The train's the contract.
Right.
So he's laid the tracks, and if we can get a solid agreement, then I think State Board of Accounts will look at this situation more favorably. I just don't want the county getting written up for things that State Board of Accounts may perceive as not clear. So I think this memorandum is, again, the tracks that he's laying for, you know, a contract then to be something more solidified. But, I mean, if I need, I mean, I've not checked this out with State Board of Accounts, but I can write an I mean, we can send an email to them.
Can we motion to move forward on this so that he can go to the hospital and say, hey, we can move forward on this if we do a contract? And then that way, we're not holding this up for another month, so we can get
I know
going.
the time is of essence as well, so.
Yeah, 'cause we can't continue to use the good graces of the county funeral home for, take advantage of that.
Are you disagreeing with me?
No,
No.
no, Raymond, I'm not. I'm agreeing that we do need something solid, and that, I think what your point here is the perception is you never spend county tax dollars on private anything. You don't pay people's driveways, you do not
That's-
improve private property.
That's what I say.
But if there is maybe something that would make it by statute, what I read in statute, that if you lease, if you own or you lease, it's considered public property at that point, and then you can make improvements on it. So that's where I'm saying, I think this contract could be the thing that could marry this situation with the need that we have.
Okay, I want the minutes to state what I said.
Yes, I'm gonna.
So we can motion and vote on to let them move forward with this on the
Contrast that we have a hard,
yeah, that-
a hard contract with
that a
them.
or that an agreement, a contract is acceptable. And then if that's not acceptable by the state, then we'd have to come back.
And how long of a term is that contract? I mean, you don't want the hospital
It's open-ended.
open-ended, okay.
We can get out, and they don't want to get out.
I'd like to see it when it's finished.
Because then there's the
It's gonna be nice.
disposition
I
of
went down
public
there,
property,
the-
which is yet
the
a
room
more
is-
code,
once they
because
do it,
it's
it's
No, I
gonna
mean,
have
contract.
Oh, the
personal
contract, I thought you
property
meant-
inside that
I don't
room.
care about
So
this.
the terms in that
Sure.
contract should
No,
outline
I-
what
I may
happens to
be
that
there
personal
one day.
property should we divorce.
But,
You see what I'm saying? You know, it's just,
But I don't
it
wanna
needs
see
to
it.
be more of a solid agreement, in
yeah,
order, I think, to take care of what the concerns are with what the needs are that he's hammered out.
Well, what's the way to move on?
I don't wanna be something that's a stumbling block between how the county needs to move forward, but I want us to do it in a correct way.
That's
And
what
I
we
don't
want.
know if it would take me
Can you-
talking to State Board of Accounts and getting something in writing from them, that if it's acceptable, if we get a contract, can we do these things? I mean, I
So
could
can we
only-
do a motion that per, and I'm just asking, can we do a
Okay.
move or make a motion or whatever it's called, that per
The response from
the
the State Board.
response from the Board of Accounts stating that it is acceptable for us to do it in that fashion, that the commissioners can move forward. Does that sound right?
Because I think if they go to the hospital saying it's, as long as everything is kosher with the state, that the hospital's more likely to.
And get that in writing from the state?
How about we okay the commissioners to
Use the money.
use the 35,000 from the 9641 county timber fund
good idea.
On the
on the
condition,
construction of the morgue at the hospital in,
on the,
in request that the contract or the
On the condition
the
that
uses
contract
pass
is
with the State Board of Accounts.
on the condition that the contract is acceptable to the State Board of Accounts,
Do you have something in there if we
maybe?
divorce or whatever you wanna call it, what's gonna happen?
Actually, Bob Houston looked at, and approved the MOU. There isn't a specific statement, a line, or whatever stating that if for some reason we decide to get out and then we take our cooler and our equipment and go,
What-
I'd have to give it to Bob, because Bob acted like now, after he said it was good, he kind of is questioning a little bit about, in real estate, if you sell your house and you nail something on that wall, that item on that wall goes with the house. So what he's thinking now is that coolers in that room, and for some reason, the hospital wants to be a butt about something, which I don't see that happening. But, they can say, well, you're not
Right.
taking it. So
I just think anything can happen. Why not write something up,
Should we wait
if we part
We
ways,
can have a special meeting
that we
sometime.
get this, and this back?
then? 'Cause now-
Maybe if it's a short time, maybe some of the money that we invested in it. I mean, I wouldn't just, if they decide, hey, we don't want you in here anymore, and they wanna keep everything, I don't think that's fair.
No, they're not, I don't think,
Well, you don't think,
well,
but what I'm saying
but
is
they
it
have
could
a black
happen.
guy in the county. if
Well, they
do
would,
it, so.
but it could happen.
Can we have a special meeting?
Yes.
How long do you think it would take you to get a hold of State Board of Accounts to make sure we have the wordage the way we need it?
As soon as I'm in the meeting, I will email them.
Actually, what I'd like to see you do is ask them if you even have to do that.
Okay.
Because, we may be putting the cart before the horse thinking we have to do something, then they may say, hey, you don't have to, this is.
I
Okay.
can send them a copy of the memorandum that we have, and then tell them the situation, and then I can CC you guys on all that, and then you guys can watch for the response. How's that?
That's fine.
If that's okay.
Yeah, I think we should table it until we,
Are you motioning?
yeah, I'd like to motion, sorry, I keep forgetting that part of it. I'd like to motion to table it until we can find out exactly if we have to do anything, because if we don't have to do anything, then why?
If we need a special meeting.
But we do need to get on this.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to make sure you guys have to make your decisions, I just
So
don't
it's the
wanna-
full cost,
This is the two amounts right here.
32,088.
So is there a second to that table?
Second.
Thanks for adding that up.
What is it, 32 what?
32,088.
You were.
Okay, so motion to table the moving of, we're just gonna move 35,000 to be safe, right? Since it was advertised, or do we
I
wanna do 32?
advertised, I highballed it and went 35, so
Do we wanna do
32,088.
33. Motion to table, moving 33,000 from the 9641 County Timber Fund for the commissioners to use for the construction of the morgue and the hospital until we support an agreement or find out from State Board of Accounts if we really need one. We can pull together a special meeting as soon as Tammy finds out.
In 2 days, 48 hours. No.
In 2 days, 48 hours, Tammy says.
And like Donnie was saying, I guess that probably, even if we do get the okay and decide that we want to do this, we still need to have your contract carved in stone before we say we're gonna give you any money.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Well, but there's another kind of step in there that the contract needs to be complete.
If the state comes back and says you can't spend the money until you have a contract, then they're gonna have to sign it before we can give them any money. So it'll have to be concrete regardless.
It'll have to be, the
Yeah.
contract has to be done
Right,
before we see it again.
right.
Okay.
And I wanna see it.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a
I
second?
think that's proper.
Second?
Yeah.
And
Donnie?
it's been advertised, we get 3 bids for that?
Well, that's the commissioner.
It's already
What is it?
advertised.
It's already done.
That's why I say
Commissioners do
the-
that.
So we have,
They've already done
if she can get it done today, then we have 2 days, we can call a special meeting
Yeah.
in between there, and we can go ahead and get them
Okay.
rolling.
Okay.
Contract.
As
yeah.
fast as we
The cost
can.
of the project is
That's
under
not up.
what it takes to advertise.
They
We're not under
advertise
obligation
for
Well,
the
that's
contract.
150,000,
to make
right?
an advertisement.
So forth,
Right,
that's
so-
not
Is that
up.
right, 150,000?
No, we don't have
Is it
any.
75?
In respect to Buchanan's, I'd like to move on as soon as possible.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor to motion this? All right, 7-0. All right, and Tammy, you'll notify as soon as you,
I will work on this ASAP.
anything else, Mike? Any other wonderful news that we need to know about today?
No, that's it.
Thank you, Mike, for all that work with that. Okay, we want to move on to River Hills. Miss Melissa?
How's everybody?
Hey, listen,
Morning.
Good morning.
Haven't seen you in a while.
I haven't seen you either in a while. Okay, I know most of you know me, but for those who don't, I'm Melissa Woods with River Hills Economic Development District. We are a regional planning commission who covers 5 counties, Scott being one of them. I am a resident of Scott County, so I'm very partial to this county. I am here today. I have a request for grant application, and this is an application the commissioners would like to apply for through the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. It's a COVID-19 Phase 3 Response Program grant. The grant they would like to request is in the amount of $250,000 for small business grants. That would give the county, if awarded, $250,000 to distribute to grant small businesses in need who suffered from the consequences of COVID and may have lost business or not have been able to be open. And ultimately, this is supposed to benefit jobs of people who are low to moderate income. So at least 51% of the people who this will benefit would need to be low to moderate income. There is not a match required necessarily. However, you are given points in the scoring process for local match, up to 10 points. So the commissioners are looking into committing 10% match to this, which is $27,778. They are still looking into whether or not the redevelopment board could commit those funds. Tammy is actually checking on that with an attorney to see if that would be allowable. If not, don't remember, Tammy, if redevelopment fund is not allowable, I cannot remember where else the commissioners said.
We had
I
discussed.
think they said go
timber.
solo, didn't they?
Well, and then we had discussed timber, but timber is not going to, if we do the work thing, it's not
Right.
gonna be a source for that. I'm really not for sure where else we can.
We would have to look at after I get the financials done and see where we have any kind of operating money that you could work from.
So our kind of, our brick wall that we're facing with that local match is I need to know by next Wednesday, close of business, because I have to advertise for a public hearing, which I need to disclose local match and where it's coming from. Just to kind of give you a heads up. The commissioner's aware of that, Tammy's aware of that, everybody's aware of that. But just kind of keeping you in the know about where we need to be with that.
How much money we talking about?
Yeah, if we could get awarded the
27,000 or
250,
almost
we could be looking at
28,000.
28,000 if
Mhm.
we did a 10% match,
Right,
right?
mm-hmm.
5%, which would give us 5 points, would be 13.
Half of that essentially, yeah.
So, I listened to the commissioners meeting the other night.
Mhm.
If we go ahead and commit to this 10% and say we only get a small chunk because there's probably more now that have
Oh,
applied
all
for
the
it.
other, yeah, there, in our region alone, which is 5 counties wide, there's at least 9 applications going in.
So if we
are
say
aware.
we're gonna pay the 10% on the 250, then we're
Mhm.
automatically gonna have to match the 28,000, no matter what we
I
get.
I will tell you this, I don't actually know that okra is its own little beast. What I do know is I've never seen them say, okay, your local match can come down since we're awarding you less. Doesn't mean it won't happen. I can't sit here for sure and tell you if they give you $100,000 that they won't still expect you to commit the 10% of the initial request, so.
So,
So is this the grant that we got before that helped the small business, or that was the city?
that was
Well,
the
the
city.
city has received.
Okay.
and as I understand it, are reapplying. But the county, if they apply, it broadens the scope of where your small businesses can benefit.
Now, will those people that receive those grants, would they be able to reapply to
Yes.
get the money from us?
Yes, but if Scottsburg and the county were both awarded in phase 3, we have to have some clear communication because they cannot pull from both pots.
But if they got it before,
They
would they
can-
still
yes,
can
they-
apply for a second round?
But we're
right?
gonna look more at the people that, they're gonna look at the businesses that didn't get it last
Yeah,
round,
that's-
or
that's-
didn't get it
that's
from the
what I would like
city
to see.
to be able to help
Yes,
first,
yes,
and
because if
then,
they got it once.
Right.
Then somebody else had it.
And you would develop a scoring committee, and actually, we kind of have a template that we can include in the application of how the process needs to work. You all would assign a scoring committee, you would go through the applications, I would assist with that, that kind of process, so,
So it goes to business owners.
yes.
did you get a hold of the redevelopment committee? I know John was in favor of it, did he get a hold of anybody?
I've emailed Karen Arlen twice regarding this, and she's our consultant with redevelopment, and she said she would have to dig into this and research this, because typically redevelopment funds are not allowable for grants. So we can't write it out to XYZ company because that's the match money for this grant.
Could they write us a grant, as in a fundraiser?
Um,
And we just put it in a file for growth, or,
You know, I don't know if the redevelopment commission could appropriate, because there's a TIF plan that dictates what we can spend things on. If they could appropriate so much money, to incentives or something, and then we could tap into that for the matches that we need. That's what I'm trying to figure out from her.
you need to know by the 10th?
The 17th, I believe, is next Wednesday, so end of business, so I can get a legal notice to the paper about the public hearing.
And I think to the general essence of the commissioners is they'd like to match as much as they could.
That was my understanding, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously then, if the redevelopment board's in the middle, I would have to have a 48-hour business day notice to get a meeting together for redevelopment to approve the expenditure of the funds or the, create, for incentive. So it's just never, nothing ever moves fast.
No, it doesn't, and I'm here with the grant request that you all, but I wanna make you aware of what we're looking at and the scope of the project and I guess the potential of us coming back, or maybe you having a special meeting if we're having to get the council's approval on a
Yeah.
local
What
measure.
is the amount of these grants when we give them out?
10,000 max.
10,000 max?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can do with it whatever they want.
No.
basically.
I mean, it's to assist them with certain expenditures that they can prove they struggled with through COVID-19 and
Payroll
stuff.
or-
Yeah. Mhm.
Or if they had to go
And
with
payroll gets-
internet, they had
yeah.
to do they couldn't do face-to-face stuff anymore, so they had to pay for all their other expenses of
Right.
mailing stuff out, or,
And then the payroll thing, we do have to keep a close eye on if they had received payroll assistance from someone else, that would come into play, but essentially.
So the employees couldn't have received like unemployment, and then the business owner give them money?
I honestly don't know that much into the trees about it, to be honest. And I don't wanna speak, and it's a good question, but I don't wanna speak to it
Because
because
that's what
I'm
comes up
not,
with
yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
let me
that's why we
go-
wanna keep away from that.
Let me go to the bottom line here real quick. All the masks and stuff, I can't hear anybody. Me and Mike understand that. But anyway, how much money are we gonna get?
Well, I don't know, you're gonna apply for
Okay, how much
250,000.
are you gonna apply for?
250,000.
250,000.
Uh-huh.
And how much do the county have to pay?
Well, there's no local match required, but to max out the points in the scoring process, you're allowed up to 10 points for 10%. So the commissioners would like to commit $27,778 for the 10%, but they're trying to figure out where that would come from.
Okay, so it's gonna cost us $25,000 or $27,000.
Just over. Mhm.
Okay, and then,
And those funds essentially would be
And so,
used to help.
did
It
you
would be
say,
more money to assist the businesses.
yeah, did you say points?
Points in the scoring process for
What's
the
points
application.
got to do with anything? I don't understand. I don't know
Get you a
what
better
points
chance of getting the money.
Right, there's a grant application that we're submitting, and there's a committee that reviews the applications. There's
Yeah.
a scoring process
are. And so the more that we match, the more points we get, that they look at that.
in that
more
particular
fondly
section.
look at that,
Mhm.
and,
in that particular section.
lean towards
yes.
the person that gives more,
Mhm.
or the entity that gives more input on.
There's only $2 million available statewide. We're asking for the maximum amount.
Okay.
And there's, like I said, including Scott County, I know there's 9, at least within our 5-county region that are applying. I don't know what all they're applying for as far as the maximum, but it's going to be a very competitive application, which is why we highly recommend if you can max out on the local match side and better your chances, we would advise you to do that.
But we have to find that 27,778. So are we gonna have approximately 8,000 left in the timber fund after we give that
Well,
initial?
they're looking really to do it with the redevelopment committee if they
Oh,
can.
okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
No, that's okay, and we are, but we don't know yet. So I just kind of want to make you all aware, because there is a chance we might have to revisit this with you, if those funds need to come from elsewhere. So just kind of keeping you.
Johnny, did you have something to add?
The program that she's talking about, I've been looking into it a lot. Like the first bunch of this COVID money, these grants like the city of Scottsburg got, Austin never went and applied for any of that. They've not applied for this program, and the program she's wanting to do would be countywide. And there's a lot of small businesses that's not in the city of Scottsburg that's truly suffering through this. It would tickle me to death to see y'all do everything you can to help her through this. And you understand how the point process works, you know, that 10% could make the difference whether we get this or we don't. That's my 2 cents worth, folks.
Now, you might have said this, and I just.
You're fine,
I
these
just
masks, I
didn't
know.
hear it.
I think we have.
If we put
I
up
think we have a
10%
line
and
item
we don't
in our
get
budget
anything,
that's
we still have to pay that 10%?
Oh, no, 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 no. And
And I don't
it's,
know how much is in it.
Okra might come back, if they gave you 100,000, they might come back if I ask the question and say, but the thing is, the local match you're committing is used in the scoring process, so I'm not sure that they would come back and say you only have to give 10% of 100,000. If you see what I'm saying. I don't know how they look at that. We could ask the question if they would happen to award you less. I would be more than happy to ask them. Yeah.
Put up the money and get nothing. and-
You're not gonna put it up and get nothing. I mean, if you don't get awarded, you're
That
not,
makes
you don't spend the
sense.
money.
Yeah.
It's contingent on the award.
Makes sense, but I
Yeah,
wanted to know.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a good
Well,
question.
I think it sounds like a really good idea. I mean, I don't know everything, but to me, it sounds, anything that's gonna help our small businesses to stay afloat. I think it's something that we should really consider.
I think if we can, find the money.
Anytime you can bring money into the county from outside the county, that's
Exactly.
good.
It seems to me a small investment to help several small businesses to stay afloat, in my opinion.
Especially if it's countywide, there probably are some places, especially in Austin, that suffer, and I think it's a good idea.
I think we find the money.
Yeah, if we can find the money.
Cut some more trees.
Diane, you asked about the balance in the timber fund.
Yes.
If we just done the 32,088, that will leave about 900,334 in that fund.
Oh,
So that's a portion.
Mhm. And again, something you don't necessarily, we just might be coming back to you for a special meeting about that, if we find out that
How much
redevelopment.
have you left over in that
About
timber?
9,334.
Okay, you said 900.
Oh,
I
did? Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew it.
I was like, oh, that's a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, that
Sorry.
math doesn't add up, and I'm not good at math.
Sorry about that, no,
Okay.
9,334.
I thought
That's too much money.
So do we-
Did somebody mention, roll the dice on a less amount?
Then we wouldn't get as many points and be,
Yeah.
but I mean, are they really gonna be that critical with this because it is
Okay, so-
COVID type of re-embellishment, so
Well,
they're gonna give everybody some?
I don't think it's gonna go around like rounds 1 and 2. 1 and 2 were a less stringent application process. These applications are more like the typical Okra grant applications. And like I
They're not
said,
gonna
we
be
know
as
we
lenient.
know there's 2 million total to give, and we know the need in our 5-county region alone. I mean, that's only what we know is being submitted, is from 9 other communities.
So there's no
So
way to get it all.
if we got the full amount, what, 20 businesses, give or take, 20, whatever?
I mean, whatever,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm
whatever
just
they,
estimating
yeah,
here.
yeah.
And if you divide that 27,000 some dollars of our investment, that's a very small investment for this county to invest in 20 different businesses to keep them going and to help their employees to stay, you know, keeping their electric on and things like that. I mean, whatever they have to do. Does that make sense? In my,
I understand it's a wonderful thing, but we're talking about what money we're gonna get back. And if we want it would be
Right.
wonderful if outside could help us instead of us being tied to that 28,000 and then.
If redevelopment can kick in.
Right, that's
or
what I
fund
mean.
The entire.
that's what I
thing,
meant.
More work for you, Tammy.
All right.
I know.
Well, matter of fact, I may just.
Is that clear as mud?
Yes, somebody else gonna need to leave the meeting right now to go get on all this.
And I hate it because Tammy just has she's
I
pulled
know.
so many ways, but I know she's been checking on it. She's been checking on
I
it for
think
2
a
weeks.
phone call is warranted today. I might be making a couple
Yeah.
phone calls. So I will try to, because if we have to do a special meeting to get the Lord thing finalized, at least started off on the right path, maybe we could combine these and just have a couple things on the agenda.
Could we pull some money from Visitors Commission or something because that's helping our businesses in the front line?
I think you'd have to request that from their board, from the.
I thought we did away with their board and we're over it now.
Yeah, no, that's not bad.
That was just good rumor.
I got one more question.
Sure.
I know a business has shut down, but they still own the building, or they're
Mhm.
still leasing the building. Can that help them to get back open? Or
I don't-
They have to be operating.
That is a very good question. I don't,
Shouldn't know all the innings
I
and
mean,
outies right now.
if they would open because of the assistance, I don't see, right now, I don't know why it wouldn't, you know.
Well, let me ask add on to that a little. Who decides, I mean, did you say there was gonna be a board set up, or there is a board set up that's gonna
There
decide
would
who
be a
gets
board
this?
set up.
As far as county level, he would receive these local grant applications for the grant that you have received to request funds from you all, for their businesses.
I mean.
So we would have, there would be a board created that would look at the applications and we would decide, not we, but the board would decide who receives the funds that they're asking for.
Okay, so there's not a board now,
Correct.
No,
but there would be a board established.
there would be, yes.
Well, that's.
Where else could we pull from
Well,
if
and
we
back to
decide
the
to do it?
Visitors Commission, any type of business, and they stretch that really wide. I used to be the executive director, so I know. That money, if it's a restaurant, any type of a business that is any way close
Anything in the
affiliated with
commissioners
bringing
for-
tourist dollars into
There's
this
that,
county.
that 50,000 that we have for
And
emergency
they
or
can
whatever.
give money out of their money, and they've not been spending it because people have not been going there. So they're paying their, you know.
We have 9,000 there
whatever.
and then 10,000
And I know
from
when I
somewhere
was
else and then
executive
3,000 from one of their
the
accounts.
annual budget was like $200.
Or if development could find something to just,
I have my
So-
dad's on redevelopment.
could they not do anything with
That
like
would be,
infrastructure
I
or
mean,
just,
I'm sure, we give it to
Something
them
with
for
COVID.
keeper's tax.
we don't have
So
anything
that
left
would
in
be
that one
maybe
either,
the
do we?
way we could get some, allocate some of that money.
But I'll get
Because it's going back to the business,
commissioners.
utilizing those tourism dollars. Just,
The council has a line item that's got discretionary money in.
I think you do. You've got some,
About 20,000.
possibly.
It's what we used to do. I haven't,
I think there's at least about 10 in your budget you can use. And maybe
That's what I was
some
asking her, because we
commissioners.
budgeted the
Oh, no,
commissioners
I'm
some
sorry.
money.
I-
No, I mean, not about ours, I mean, just piecing it from different places.
we got, we should have a line item, discretionary money.
Yes.
And we usually, I haven't seen this year's budget, but it usually has $20,000 in it.
I think there's about 10 in your budget for in one line item that could be used.
You have the original, so he would have.
And maybe some in the commissioners that you all have your.
They have discretionary funds money too.
Yeah, a little bit.
We can find the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
I think,
We can find the money.
So do we wanna go ahead and, when, You don't have to have money until we get the grant,
No,
right?
no, but we do need to
Know the
know
number?
the intent, like where the intent is,
Right.
where it's coming from, and how much.
We can find the money.
By the 17th.
Yes, I can ask the question today if we can use the term cash on hand in lieu of particular funds, especially since it could be piecemealed from different.
Let's do that.
I can
and
ask
then
that.
See if we can work together on it and see where we can piece. Because if we have 9,000 left over from that one,
We can maybe go ask the redevelopment.
We can find the money.
if they can find some way to give
Yeah.
us a 10,000
piece it
or
together.
something.
Okay. And again, I don't want you to feel backed in a corner. I just wanted to make you aware of
We
the
don't have to
situation
decide
because this
right
is gonna be
now
very
what's
quick
coming.
once we get to
No.
next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay or to get
Just-
started.
We can find out where, we can work out
Yeah.
where it's coming from.
Twenty-seven, the almost 28,000, when are you gonna need those funds? by?
Oh, goodness. So the award
Well,
date
she
for
said she had
these
that turned in by Wednesday.
is April
17th.
5th.
Okay.
So we
Yes
can
and no, so
Oh,
then she
yeah.
she has to have a
Time to
meeting.
advertise.
She has to have an
Don't
advertised
have it
meeting
appropriate.
in order for it to be
So
legal.
if you get will you get like say if they give you grant the 250, would you get the 250,000
I thought
plus
you were
what
trying
we
to
have,
get
or is
back
that
to me.
our money coming out of that?
Oh, no, so it's on top of, so the local match that you would be committing would actually just be additional funds to help
Awesome,
the
yeah,
local businesses.
yeah.
Because River Hills has committed on this particular project not to charge for grant administration or the preparation of the application. So there's no cost on our side of things. So it would go to benefit your small.
Well, I moved to
What's the main,
participate and
what
we'll
is it
find
called
the money.
completely?
And so it's the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. It's the COVID-19 response program.
COVID-19. Okay, so do I have a motion?
I moved
to-
to participate.
All right.
Second.
Raymond motions that we move River Hills to prepare COVID-19 response program grant application with the funding following
Is it are we doing the poll?
So your percentage
Every
match is gonna
27.
be dependent on how much funding we can find. So in other words, your motion would be that up to 10% if the
There you
funds can
go.
be found.
Yeah, sounds great.
That-
So it could be
That's good.
5%, it could be
Whatever it takes to
7, it could be,
participate, that's what I
yeah.
want.
How's that?
Grant
That's perfect.
due to funding
We don't wanna do that. do we?
I don't think you want to do that,
No.
but you could.
up to
They
10%
just write us off.
match.
We can find that.
Okay, and you're still gonna check with redevelopment, see if there's any way they can help us out a little bit?
I in no way can tell you how this will score out in Indianapolis, but I think things are favorable because you haven't applied previously in the first two rounds. And Scott County is one of the counties in greatest
So
need
many
in the
restaurants and so
state.
many
I
businesses
mean,
because of
again,
their
I
lack
can't
of
say one way or
tourism because of
another.
it.
Well, we need to check with them. We're gonna check with everybody.
Just a couple other things if I may. So it's due March 11th, just to kind of let you know. I plan to have a public hearing for it at 3:30 on March 9th here. And I will advertise for that. And
March
if-
9th.
And if any of you, and I'm sure you do, personally know small business owners throughout the county who would be willing to write a letter of support on how these funds might be able to help them, or what hardships they experience through this, an email even to my attention, I can include that in the application, and that just betters your chances. I would love to have 5 to 7 good letters of support.
Sounds good.
I'll go ahead, I know Rachel, you know how to get in touch with me, but I'll just leave my card for everybody.
And this is
Your email
someone
in
that's already received that money or would like to receive it, and how it would affect them.
How it would help them.
How it would help them.
And how soon do you need those letters?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible, but I mean, we have a couple weeks for those.
Okay.
So, I'm asking, the 19th, 20, end of February would be fine.
In the February?
Yeah. mhm.
It needs to go to you,
It can be to my attention,
okay,
yes.
so you just got my card.
We'll
Yes.
pass it around.
Sorry.
I've got it.
Yeah, I
I
typically
see
have
no
more,
worries.
but not today.
We can make a copy of it before you leave.
That'd be
and then-
great, yeah.
You do that. I can make some copies of Melissa's.
think everybody was just writing it down, but.
And if I get more than 5 to 7, I mean, I'll ask if they let me attach, but I'll probably pull the best of the best.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Tammy
use
wants the
those.
card.
But
Thank you,
thank you all
Melissa.
for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank
and,
you.
Pass it around.
Good
Take
to
care,
see
be safe, it's good to
Thank-
see you too.
thank
Tammy.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we can do that. It breaks my heart.
Okay, wow. Health Department?
Hi. So those of you that don't know me, I haven't spoken to you guys this year yet. My name's Michelle Matern, I'm administrator of the Scott County Health Department. I've been here for almost 5 years now. Time flies when you're having fun or going through pandemics. So I'm coming to you guys today because we are normally a department that does not work holidays. That's usually a paid day off for us. We, work a standard 35 hours. There's a few of us who are salaried, some of us are hourly. Obviously salaried, non-exempt employees, we get a standard paycheck. Those who are hourly get the comp time if they do have to work over. This past year, a lot of us have worked a lot of extra hours, just due to the pandemic and being a local health department. So when we got vaccine and the state gave us vaccine, they said, we really want you guys to be on a schedule because it is a state platform that everybody schedules through. You go online to the website, you schedule, and so you kind of book your schedule 4 weeks in advance because once you get a first dose, you get a second dose 4 weeks later. So we actually have our schedule now through the end of March booked out. And so that means having vaccine clinics on holidays, probably eventually weekends. So I have created a policy and it's been sent to the consultants. I never remember their names. Erwin.
WIS.
WIS, thank you. With a contingency going back to January 11th, which is when we got our first dose of the vaccine, to April 30th. That if we have to work over non-exempt and exempt employees, that we could use a grant that we got from the State Department of Health to pay out that extra wages. Because we are expected to be open and operate. This coming Monday is President's Day, but we'll still have a vaccine clinic from 3 to 5. This Friday, we'll still have a vaccine clinic from 9 to 3. The commissioners approved this in their first meeting second meeting in January. So now it is before you guys. So, and I think, do they all have copies of it?
Did Teresa get a copy of that to you guys? Is it in your packet? Can you see got the health department logo on it? If not, let me know.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
got it.
You have COVID money.
Yes, we got,
That you want to use
no, we don't have.
to pay overtime, I guess,
Yes.
overtime for
Yes.
people working on holidays and past normal working hours.
yes, we got just over $40,000. Every health department got, or had the opportunity to get the money. And that can be used to pay EMS. It can be used to buy ancillary supplies like gloves, masks. We have an abundance of that stuff, so we don't really need to pay for that. But then we can also pay for wages. So we can hire staff to come work it for us, or we can pay our staff if they work over. And so yes, that's where that money would come from. So it would not come from my 1159 budget.
Okay, so did that come from the county?
That 40,000 came from the State Department of Health.
Okay, so that can come from the county 750. Well, the county got 750 or 777, whatever it was.
No, she
Did you
filled
get
out a
your- you got
completely
your
different
own
grant.
She
No,
got her own.
This is a $40,000 grant.
For COVID vaccine.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, you can take that and you can use it as you see fit?
Yes, as long as it relates to COVID vaccines.
Okay.
So we just need a motion to use the grant money already in her fund to pay wages for overtime hours during the COVID vaccine, which is from April 30th, or January 11th, starting January 11th, 2021, and saying April 30th as a cutoff for now.
Yeah, just for now.
Yeah.
And just so you're aware.
Okay, Linda, you motion this?
It would be for, the request is for non-exempt and exempt employees. So like myself, I'm salary,
whether I work 35 or 55 hours. But for the additional time spent for specifically COVID vaccines, to pay those extra hours out of the.
Okay, so we'll add exempt and non-exempt employees.
Correct. So essentially,
Are
you're
paid
amending your
from that fund.
pay ordinance for 2021 from this is deviating from county policy, so to speak. That's why both boards have to sign off on it, because you are allowing exempt employees to be compensated for any, or at an overtime rate.
Yeah,
Which is-
during this period of time,
Yes.
I fully agree with that. I mean, you guys are overloaded, you're working, you're going beyond normal duties. You should be compensated.
Okay, so we're covered. Can I get a second? Lindy motion,
I second.
Donnie second. All in favor? 7-0. Thank you, guys.
Any questions for me about COVID vaccine or anything health department?
When you
Sounds
get
like
your
yes.
first one, how long is it before you get your
You
second?
have a minimum of 28 days to get that, or you can wait up until 42 days.
So 20, but you have to wait 28?
Yes.
Now, this new vaccine with one shot, will it be in by next Friday?
No. I don't
They're
know.
not gonna get
the emergency use granted yet, so
Okay.
that, we probably won't see that, I wouldn't say at least until April or May, if we get that at all, so.
Are you having many side effects from the shot?
We have a lot of people that say they have the sore arm, redness, or like a knot at the injection site. That's probably most common. And then like some fatigue or tiredness, muscle aches that, usually go away within 24 to 48 hours, so.
Do you see the weather bothering you? I'm due Thursday.
Thursday, since we use the state system, what they can do is we can let them know if we need to cancel for weather conditions, and they will send and call everybody on the list, and then we just kind of move those people to a new date. We're kind of waiting till tomorrow, but if we can get a better forecast of what the ice is gonna look like on Thursday.
But you would anticipate being in operation.
If we are open, we are gonna be in operations, and if somebody cannot come because of the weather, we will save, we have that shot in stock, and we will save it and move them to the next available
Okay.
time.
I'll come and get you. We'll make sure you get your shot.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Well,
Yeah.
We'll have
This
a
is
county
about the
truck coming
vaccine,
to
but
get it.
I volunteer
Yeah,
with the
Gary's
Homeless
with me, yeah.
Coalition.
Yeah.
You
And we
getting
set
yours?
up warming stations for this week.
I'm
And there
scheduled
was a
Friday.
question because, like, these were churches and small businesses that volunteered to open up for the warming stations.
Yeah.
Does the health department have boxes of masks that we could give one to each one
Yeah,
of these
yeah,
places?
we have plenty of
Because they
masks.
are volunteering.
Yeah.
But it was just a question.
Yeah, definitely, just have them call our office and we'll get you guys
Okay.
some masks. Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
have plenty to give out, definitely.
You need anything else from us?
I think that's it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, tell everybody we do appreciate what they're doing.
Thank you, I will let
We really
everybody know
do.
that.
I don't know if I told you, I think I did, that I didn't have any side effects from the
Good,
first.
good.
Absolutely none.
It's more common with the second shot since you're kind of boosting those antibodies again.
The first one, absolutely no. And it was just really slick operation.
We only have Moderna because we don't have the ultra cold.
Worked good out there, it was good.
Thanks, we like it too. So. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
EMS, Shannon?
Yep. I'll take my mask off so you guys can hear me. You guys had a handout that I gave you earlier. So there was some question about how we were spending the cash funds from the CARES Act fund. Also, the TIF district funds that were given. And then FEMA grant. The TIF grant. So basically what we did, we've itemized it out. It tells you how much exactly we spent, on what day we spent it, and what it was spent for. So with that said, we started out at 710,000, and total expenditures as of today was 649,588.25 for CARES Act. We do still have a few bids that's not come in, or receipts that's not come in yet, because we have not got those things finished off. That's why they have the question marks.
You got that one truck fixed.
It will be fixed, right?
Well,
I can't control the weather, man, but it is being fixed.
uh,
We just got the fourth truck online, so now we.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Okay.
about, but I can't, it won't go on with the weather.
Take the paintbrush out there and paint it
Yeah,
up.
wish it was that easy.
That's gotta be fixed. Not first to discuss here, I'm sorry. We'll
Right,
discuss.
it is being fixed.
Yeah,
It has already been discussed, we just gotta get it over there to get it done.
yeah, well, let's get it over and get it done.
For TIF district, the first one was $53,000. You see where we've, used that for the back parking lot. I want you guys to understand, and the new members mainly, not the old members, we extended the parking lot because we have a parking issue there. All that labor was on me. I did it, free of charge. I'm getting paid to do the job anyway. I got the county highway equipment. I used their county highway equipment to do the job. We bid the county rock. The county bid, rock bids is what we used to gravel it with. I think we were at $500 because I needed a dozer. And that was to push out the stump. And we didn't have nothing big enough to do that. And I used a crawler to pack in the shale in the base.
Well, it's wonderful that you did that.
So, anytime we have a chance to cut corners on this, that's what we're doing.
Appreciate
And we're
it.
saving that money.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Instead of buying a outside building, I bought 2 shipping containers. Basically, that's gonna make a storage facility in a garage. I got North out there wiring it up right now. So we saved $15,000. Well, I asked for $15,000. The containers cost me $5,200, so we were able to spend money on different things, which is a good thing because when that building was built back in 2016, 2014, there was no oversight on the construction. So whoever the electrical contractor was did a not so great job. We had an outside security light pole that's metal, and that pole's been energized for the past 5 years at 240 volts. So whenever a bird would land on it, it would kill the animals. I'm glad nobody touched it with their hand because it would have killed them on the site. We have rectified that. We have shut the power down. We are in the present day fixing the wiring issues out there at the station. With that, we also originally bid the lights to be replaced inside the station, not the shop area. The original bid came in at $5,200. I talked with Josh last week, and that went down to $1,800 because we wanted half the size of the light, and they're LED, so we're going to be saving money on that project as well. We also saved money on not having a paper shredder service. We do our own shredding now, and then we dispose of it by recycling it. Diane, you're the recycle person, but we try to recycle all the cardboards, all the paper, all the aluminum, and all the steel.
It's awesome. Great
So
job.
we're trying to go green in that area. We're also getting ready to, one of the projects for 2021-22 is to go through the garage and take all the fluorescent tube lights out and put in LED lights. There again, that's a separate operation than what the inside will be. So we're actually gonna decrease our electrical consumption, easier on the environment. We got rid of the cable TV, nobody was watching it, that was $125 to $150 a month, we pulled out of that. So we're saving on that as well. We had the generator serviced, which it automatically checks itself every Monday, so that's in good operating conditions. Another project that I'll be working on will be replacing 4 garage door openers because now we're starting to have issues. And I think those were the original ones from 2005. So they're going to have to be replaced, but that will be something for later on. Basically, we went out here, we've cleaned it out, cleaned it up. We've built a wall separating, making a 6 bedroom for the supervisor office / bedroom. I think that cost us $800. We bought the materials. We were only at $800 in labor. Only reason why I had somebody else to do it is because I don't cut so straight. with us all, and I just don't have the time to do the covering work. But
How long do you keep your ambulances?
presently, we've had some of those trucks were 4 years old, and the reason why we went through and replaced those trucks was because they were not maintained. Nothing. Right now, we run 5. We have 3 on the road 24/7, but we have 5 trucks.
And so you normally run them how many miles, or you run them miles or years or both?
Well, it's a combination of hours, years, and mileage. So all 3 determine how we replace those.
What would be typical of
Well, it
miles?
just depends on how they're run and how they're maintained.
Yeah, maintenance, when you're gonna get a lot more than.
If we
what
maintain
have
them, I
been
can't
doing.
answer your question because I come into this on the butt end of it, you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a fleet that was not maintained at all, so I can't give you that
How
answer.
long are you gonna keep your new ones?
My new ones are probably 4 years, and then we're gonna do rotation. But the way I've set this up is that we will be only replacing the truck chassis, not the ambulance module.
Okay. That's new, because you bought complete ambulances this time. I understand.
We had one ambulance that had the frame out from underneath of it, the suspension was shot, it could not be remounted. And we actually had 3 boxes that were having some issues. So that's why we went with that. And to further back up, I have pictures of the lack of maintenance to the vehicles. And also I have pictures, or I actually have the receipts from where I spent probably $25,000 to $30,000 between September 1st and December 31st to keep the trucks that I had on the road because they were not maintained.
Who's maintaining them now?
Right now, John Jones did the first oil change on the first truck. We will be signing a maintenance agreement with probably Wheatley's because they're close. There's another place in Indianapolis that does that. Wheatley's is a little bit cheaper, but they're closer and we can run the trucks down and back as we need to. That's going to be done on a quarterly fashion. All of them are ASI certified mechanics. They're allowed to be able to be in these trucks, and they have one specific guy that works on our trucks. And that's that one specific guy that answers for everything, from front bumper to front bumper. Unless it's a warranty work goes to Chevy, it's a chassis. If it's not a chassis issue, then it will go to their mechanic from the ambulance builder, which we have one of those. His office is in Smithville, Kentucky. He had to do some electrical work to it, but that was no cost to us. That was still under warranty from the factory.
Good.
All of our trucks are factory warranted.
For how long?
That should be for around 35,000 miles because it's an industrial truck. All the trucks, we bought 2 trucks that were remounts, but they're still in compliance with brand new because they went through. We bought 3 brand new trucks. So that's complete front bumper to front bumper brand new. One of those trucks we could remount that was ours, and it is up in Elkhart, Indiana, being remounted right now. They're gonna be going through, that was a specific PL custom shop, and in order for us to keep our PL custom warranties, it had to go through a PL custom shop, which they sell PL custom.
So in the future, we're gonna start rechassing again.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's
Everything, the only 2 trucks that we have are diesel, or the 2 new Chevrolets, and that was because I couldn't find any other ambulances that were built. Ford shut down, Ford, Chevy, all them guys shut down production back in about August. So whatever was out there was out there. COVID kind of put the hiatus on anything that was sitting around. Everybody's trying to buy at the last minute. As of a month ago, Ford, Chevy, Dodge all shut down production. And there will not be another heavy-duty truck built until October of 2021 when they come out with the 2021 models. So,
We should be good.
we are. The one that's being built now with our FEMA grant, when we get it back, we have the budget for that truck. That will be coming back from Missouri on the 23rd, because I'm going out to pick it up. The remount truck number 5, will be coming out of Elkhart, should be
the end of March, April, because they promised me a 90-day turnaround, depending on weather and all that stuff. They don't have their own paint facility, but they do all work inside except for paint. So we will be good on trucks. Equipment-wise, we've purchased a lot of equipment. Equipment-wise, we're now up to state standards. We were not before. We are now. Every truck should have had a monitor on it. Every truck did not have a monitor on it. Every truck should have had equipment on it. Every truck did not have equipment on it. It does now. No questions. 100% compliance. As a matter of fact, we've even went beyond what the state requirements are, which was a triple K standard in the past, for the past 60 years. And now we are going to the CAS accreditation, which means if we have an accident, the stretcher will not come off the floor. It is locked to the floor. It is locked in its loading unit. The monitor will be locked down to the cabinets. The equipment is locked down inside all the cabinetry inside. So we have the monitors on the countertops, which will be locked down. All the equipment inside will be locked down. So there will not be a potential for anybody getting hurt in the back of that ambulance if we have a wreck. And the ambulances that we went with are very well constructed. They have the test information on it, and we researched even for the fuels and stuff. Because I was even looking at oil viscosity, which you guys care about. You know, I was looking at oil viscosity, how long it takes it to break down, cold weather, warm weather, all that kind of stuff. So I've done a lot of research in as far as all that goes down.
Well, somebody said the other day that you may look at gas trucks.
All of our trucks, except for the 2, are diesel. The rest of them are the 7.3 gas engines from Ford. And the reason why is because I cannot keep gaskets in the 6.7 diesels. I got 2 of those, and I got that many receipts on trying to keep gasket sets in it. Every time a gasket goes bad, I got to pull the engine and completely do every gasket on the truck. I am tired of oil in I-65 because you can go right out there right now. I just had that truck come back in November, and I'm already shooting oil out the back. And it's not the main seal, it's all the gaskets. Ford doesn't have, it's a 2-pan system on those diesel trucks. They don't have gaskets from the factory. So we're losing oil out the heads, intakes, and on the bottom of the blocks.
It'd be interesting to see how the gas hooked up. I wouldn't give you a dime for gas again.
I know. The new 7.3s, as long as we maintain the fuel injection system at 30,000 miles and clean it, we're expecting those engines to be 200,000+ mile engines. You know, a V10 engine only goes about 110,000. To even research it more, I contacted Indianapolis. I know Louisville Metro uses diesel. Indianapolis switched over to gas trucks probably 3 years ago. Now that they've gotten out of the V10s, they're going to the 7.3s, and their maintenance costs have plummeted to a positive situation. And that's where we want to be.
Yeah, I hope that's.
Yeah. One of the other things we did to save money this year was go ahead and buy fuel futures. One of the things that I did 2 weeks ago with Premier, we burn right around 22,000 gallons of fuel, I think is what we burnt last year. You guys are paying 100% pump price. You guys got that back through the WIX program. So what I did with Premier this year was contract with them for the full year. We actually are paying, we're not getting charged the tax on the front end, so we're not investing that money. That basically saved us $15,000 based on last year's numbers. With Premier this year, we actually go ahead and bought fuel futures to where they were predicting $5 a gallon by June. We locked it in at $2, and I think it was like $2.48 on gasoline, and I think it was like $2.70 on diesel fuel. So basically, my fuel budget was going to go from $35,000 to $40,000 to $95,000, based just alone on what we pay on fuel. Nobody in the county could give me the amount of fuel I needed over a period of time. I had to buy 10,000 gallons up front, and I don't have places to store 10,000 gallons worth of fuel. And not to mention, it would probably cost us $100,000 by the time we had EPA studies and we got the proper containment facilities and all that kind of stuff. With Premier, we can get it comes from Austin. and then bring it down to us every Wednesday, as we need it.
When I saw this, $710,000, whatever, dollars that you got from the COVID fund, that scared me to death. And I thought, why in the world are you getting all that money? And so, now that you've got it, and I wasn't here then, but now that you've got it, are you gonna be way above operating balances at the end of the year? So I mean, you ought to be in great shape.
Well,
I mean, excellent shape after all this.
hopefully. I can't guarantee, I don't know what the future's gonna bring. Right now, we're at 520 runs. Based on that information, we're running about 15 runs a day, that's about 5 runs per truck. Now, that can change. That can go higher, because so far this month, we've turned about 105 runs since the first. So a lot of that comes back to that. I can't answer the future. My guesstimation is yes. We were supposed to finish out last year, we finished out with 275-ish. We were supposed to end up with a negative 100,000. We were supposed to end up with cash on hand at 245. We wound up, we were projected at 16,000. So in 4 months, we saved a hell of a lot of money. So we're investing in what we're doing. And to answer your question, I'm hoping we can be at 100%, because I'm not coming back, trying not to come back to ask for any more money. I'm already looking at ways to cut budgets, because that's what we gotta do with all the savings that we're gonna be making in electric bills and all that kind of stuff. Reinvesting in the station, reinvesting in the service, we can start making cuts in other places.
You're doing a very great job. All right, anything else
Oh my God.
that you need
Trying to
done?
shut me up? I want to ask you, I want to tell you the back of that packet I gave you guys. It tells you what we're doing. So now we're actually helping the health department with snow plowing, because we have our Kubota. We're going over there with county highway. We're plowing the snow for them guys. Also giving the vaccines, and I personally go out and do the homebound patients. So we were doing that. That is part of the EMS's job to do that. So we support the health department. We are working with the county highway for what they need for first aid. We've also helped the auditor's office out. Presently, we are also working with the coroner's office. I called a meeting with the coroner. We are still transporting bodies for them. However, when one of my trucks come offline, we are going to give them an ambulance until you guys get them on their feet. I will also eat the vehicle, and I'm eating the fuel out of my budget to support the coroner's office.
Wow, that's wonderful.
I won't be for that.
I know that, but I'm just doing it till you guys get them on,
Yeah,
get them on line.
yeah, I won't be for that.
So, and I'm not talking, we're not talking that much fuel, but I'm just saying, we are trying to help them out. We're here to help other departments, and that's what we're gonna do. This is a community project, and that's how we're trying to run it as a community project.
Thank you, Shannon. We appreciate your work.
So,
You've done a lot of turnarounds since you've been here.
yep.
You guys were cutting the trees, and I know somebody, one of the employees was gonna take some, but was any of that wood been able to go to the trustees?
That wood will go, 100% of that wood will go to the trustees
Okay.
when we get it cut. We're not going back in there right now and cutting it.
Right, it's too cold, but I didn't know if you, okay.
Right. So there's, behind the station, the county owns 5.6 acres, the hospital owns about 5 acres. I met with the forestry service last week. I had her, myself and her and the hospital walk the property. We have about 20 trees that need to come down. Sweet gum, maple, there's some persimmons, 4 or 5 pin oak trees that need to come down because they are dead. That wood will go to the county township trustees for people who need heat for wood.
And then I had one more question.
Sure.
And I know this isn't your department, but it kind of is. I was an old member of the CERT team, and I know that there's not, or I haven't been seeing any kind of information on recertification for first aid or anything. I don't know if he's even handling that now. And we're gonna be, I know we're in winter now, but you know, spring will be coming up and the possibility of tornadoes and things like that.
So that's an EMA question.
Okay.
EMA handles that, that's 100% Jeff Fortner. He is the EMA director.
It's Jeff?
He's
Okay.
the EMA director for the county. We are also working with him as well on different projects, so. to let you guys know, and not to, I know you guys need to get out of here, but we are looking at different ways on finding budgets. So we are looking for outside money. Presently, I'm working on about 6 different grants through Hoosier or River Hills, for FEMA grants, also for COVID monies and that kind of stuff. So we are actively looking for different funds to fund other departments, not myself. So just let you guys know, we are also reissuing our equipment. So one of the questions, Eric, you asked, when we transferred over from our Durangos to the full-size pickup trucks, those are gonna be handed down to the county highway once we get done with those in 5 years. So we can actually, we're buying 1 ton or 3/4 ton pickup trucks, snow plowed, requirements, so we can hand those down to the county highway and they can use those as crew trucks. Then we will get our new trucks and continuously cycle our stuff down. We are going to be giving them a ambulance for a mechanic's truck. They presently have an ambulance down there now that was, they're gonna fix. We're pulling the box off, we're gonna use that as a simulator out at the station, we're gonna build our own simulator. So they're actually gonna make that into some type of a work truck as well. So we're trying to recycle all of our vehicles and all of our equipment. Fire departments will also be given some of our radios that we have left over. And Tammy and I have been working on some FEMA grants for some equipment for those departments, which we got with our big purchase. Because we got a better deal on this stuff.
Sounds like you're working really, really hard.
Usually an 80-hour week.
He is. He's put a lot of effort into this.
Appreciate you helping the corner out until
Yeah.
later, because it don't only affect him, it's affecting other people too.
What's the whole county?
So, we appreciate you doing that until he can get where he needs to be. Appreciate the vehicle you're gonna furnish.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions and you wanna see what we're doing, I have no problem with you guys coming out and seeing this stuff. We have made a lot of improvements on the building.
Very nice.
Rachel's
Very
been
nice.
out, you haven't been there since we got the chairs.
That's all picture of them. They're sharp.
They're nice. They're nice. So, all right, guys.
Hopefully you guys get
Thank
to
you,
enjoy them a
sir.
little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Building commissioner,
I'll speak to
Transfer.
that. And you'll see a printout in your packet. And when the budgets were set up last year, he had put in money for a vehicle purchase, which was denied. Shannon actually gave him one of their vehicles to use for his, yeah. So we're asking to move $1,500 from the vehicle purchase line to fuel 22700, $1,500 transfer.
You make a motion on that?
So there's already a line item,
There
fuel
is-
line item.
Well, no, we're gonna create line 22700 and transfer 1,500 from 42601.
Okay, so 2270 is gonna be his fuel line item. Okay, so let's,
22700, yes.
22700, fuel line item. So let's go ahead and, anybody, can I entertain a motion to?
Motion.
All right, Lindy. Motion to create line item 22700 for fuel line item.
Got a treatment, right?
A second?
I'll say.
Donnie.
I vote aye.
Oh, Raymond's got the second. All in favor? 7-0.
7-0.
Okay, and now transfer, do I have a motion to transfer the $1,500?
So moved.
Donnie,
Ab seconded.
transfer $1,500 from the vehicle purchase fund
See Raymond.
See,
to line item 22700 for fuel
Yes.
expenses. Ab second.
just a dumb question on that. Why do we have to do that?
For State Board of Accounts.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, weren't we already buying gas for the truck?
they didn't have a vehicle.
Did not have a vehicle.
No.
They,
So now has a vehicle.
EMS gave him a
Gas.
vehicle to drive, so
That's
now
all I need.
we gave him money, we appropriated money for him to buy a vehicle last year.
I see.
he doesn't need to buy that, so we're gonna put that money in fuel so he can expend that.
That's fine. I
All
didn't-
right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
6-0.
I'll put up 2 hands.
All right, note that Raymond Jones has left us. He almost made it. Highway line item creation, and what's that all about, Tammy or Teresa?
Yes, basically the same thing. I did not put, if somebody wants to see it, there was some equipment bought for the highway department, from Ace Hardware. And I think these are weed eaters and some saws, I do believe, for $3541.01. So we're gonna ask to transfer, create line item 37002, equipment, and transfer $3,550 from 2300 stone. So just a transfer, and this is in the building and supply.
So we're transferring $3,550
Right.
transfer from supply.
To create line 37002, equipment.
So we need to create the line item first.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion
Yeah,
to create line item
yeah, motion.
37002.
37002?
I'll second it.
And what are we gonna call it?
37002 is equipment,
Equipment.
and you're gonna transfer 3,550
Hold on.
from line 23100 stone.
Okay, we're creating the line item. Diane seconded, Eric motioned, all in favor? 6-0. Okay, now we're gonna transfer 3,550 from
23100, and that is stone.
stone line item 23100 to equipment line 37002. Okay, do I have a motion?
Vote to approve.
Second? Eric? All in favor? 6-0. Okay. Anything else with that one? We're good with the highway department now? Surveyor?
This is an additional appropriation into the perpetuation surveys perpetuation fund. And that fund is used for section corners. And I think I put a copy of his bill in. And he does this once a year. He submits for the year before. So
Move to
this
approve.
is.
So we're doing the 16,800?
Yes.
Yes, when I advertise it, I'll have all this, so yes.
Okay, so Eric, motion to approve. Surveyor, additional appropriation, $16,800.
I'll second.
Rachel, you second?
Lindy did.
Linda?
Lindy say all in favor? 6-0. Everybody have a chance to read the minutes?
You didn't hear.
You guys get a copy of the minutes? Well, yeah, I guess
And we weren't.
you don't really correspond with it, but did you get it?
We weren't special.
Okay,
We're not
did you
special
guys
to
get
sign
it?
off on them yet.
Should we wait till next meeting when Raymond's
Do you
back,
want
or?
to upload?
I needed to upload, yeah, if you guys, if you can vote to approve them, I'll just,
All
they'll
right.
just sign them, so you guys.
Entertain a motion to
Move to
approve?
approve.
Ab?
Second.
All in favor? That'd be us three.
Well, we don't.
We don't.
I just raised my hand.
They're not in on them, because they weren't,
Yeah,
that
we
was
weren't here
December.
yet.
Do they still vote them?
They can approve
No.
them, they just don't sign them.
6-0? Okay. Anything else from you ladies?
I just have a couple things for you to sign on the policy.
Okay. Anything else anybody's got going on? There is a trivia, Farmers to Families will be back February 13th, Saturday at the fairgrounds. So not that, next one. And then, Partnership is having a trivia night, and it's gonna be $25. Family, they wanna try to keep it towards the household since they can't have it publicly this year. So if anybody would want any more information on that, notify myself or Jeannie Bridgewater. That just goes to help our community more through the partnership, so.
Oh, and I saw that the 4-H is having a pizza sale, online pizza sale thing.
That too.
They'll deliver right to your door.
All right. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you guys. Good meeting.
Good meeting, thank you.
All in favor?
Oh, I don't think that one will go on. Are you gonna oppose?
Wait a minute.
No, no.
Okay.
I don't want to adjourn.
Stay all night.
I just, oh, certain things.
Do